Good afternoon, everyone. I did a video like this before and people seem to really enjoy it, so I thought I would do the same thing again and give my first reactions to the September 2021 developer update direct from Behaviour. This was literally released 4 minutes ago, so it's hot off the presses. So let's take a look. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because one of the new things that's happening is that they're changing the way that matchmaking works. And you may remember from the PTB that there was like a bronze ranking and a gold ranking, and it felt really sad to have lost rank 1 in place of this like generic kind of system. So I'm interested in seeing what the changes are for it. So let's just have a little read through and I'll give my thoughts on it. So skill-based matchmaking. For a while now, we've been running tests for the skill-based matchmaking system, which uses ratings to match you with other players rather than ranks. The most recent test exceeded our expectations, and we're rolling the system out indefinitely with the 5.2.0 update. The most recent SBMM test resulted in fairer matches across the board for players of all skill levels, especially low to mid-skilled players. High-skilled players will still see the most variance in their matches due to the low number of players of high ratings. It's lonely at the top, though their matches would still be more consistent compared to rank-based matchmaking. During peak hours, 99% of matches formed were what we consider reasonably balanced, with your odds of escaping or killing a survivor varying within 25% of the average. Better yet, 75% of matches fell within a 5% chance. This is a huge step up from rank-based matchmaking, where 99% of matches saw a 45% variation and 75% of matches saw a 25% variation. There's a lot of numbers there. One of the things I spoke about in one of my previous videos on the Goldilocks rule is that the goal of any skill-based matchmaking system is to try and predict the outcome of those matches and then try and match it up as close as possible to it being roughly a 50% chance. That sounds kind of roughly like what they've managed to achieve here, which is really, really good to see. From my understanding, previous skill-based matchmaking tests, people have hated them. The most recent one, I had some of the most fun I've ever had in DBD, and from survivors, that seems to be the case. Killers, not so much. I reckon they've made some even more tweaks to that. So yeah, this will be releasing in 5.2.0, which I am actually really excited about because I think it's going to be miles better than rank-based matchmaking. Speaking of ranks, rank changes and rewards. You may be wondering, with skill-based matchmaking enabled full-time, what will happen to ranks? Ranks will become grades and feature all new icons ranging from Ash to Iridescent. Those are pretty cool names. You can increase your grade by earning pips just like before, though there's now a limit on how many pips you can lose. Okay, that's interesting. On the 13th of each month, grades reset to Ash 4, the lowest grade, and you'll receive up to 250,000 blood points, depending on how far you manage to climb. You are rewarded for each roll separately, so playing both sides can reap double the rewards. Fine, I'm glad that there is such thing as Iridescent 1. We've still got rank 1. That is good. I would suck if rank 1 was the lowest and rank 4 was the highest. I'm still going to always prefer rank 20 to rank 1 because it was so unique, but this is fine. Ash, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Iridescent. It matches up with the emblem system, which kind of makes a little bit more sense. That's fine. And in terms of losing a certain number of pips, now that it's not about rank, that kind of makes sense. There's more of an incentive to play regularly, whereas when you get to about like if you're losing 50% of your games, you're going to be depipping a lot more than you were before, which is going to be quite disheartening if the grade doesn't actually mean anything. So that's fine with me. And they've said for ages that it's going to be a blood point reward and reset monthly. I've come to terms with that. I'll miss the old 20 to 1 system, but this is completely fine in my books. Okay, so there are some changes to the Cenobite. This is their plan. We've polished the way that chain spawns make them perform more consistently. We've fixed an issue which could cause chains to spawn behind obstacles and corners and immediately break as soon as they would connect. Additionally, if a chain fails to spawn because there's no suitable place to spawn the chain, for example, the system will now attempt to spawn another chain much sooner. Finally, if a chain is broken by the environment or the Cenobite himself, a new chain will spawn considerably faster than before. These changes will make chains much more effective in tight areas with lots of obstacles. We've also simplified the way the chain hunt works. On the PTB, the number of chains that spawn during the hunt would depend on the number of survivors remaining. Instead, the hunt will now always spawn a cluster of 3 chains, with each chain appearing 3 seconds apart, with an increasing interval between clusters based on the remaining survivors. This will keep the hunt feeling meaningful without getting out of hand as survivors die. I played a couple of games on the PTB and I didn't really ever understand the chain hunt mechanic. It never seemed significant. Maybe if I'd have played it more, it would have come up, but I didn't really understand that and I read it, so I'm glad that they're making changes to kind of make it more consistent and actually have a bigger impact on the game. That's good. Finally, deciding when to solve the lament configuration is something we want to leave up to you, but keeping it forever shouldn't be ideal. In the PTB, the survivor carrying the box would have a chain spawn and attempt to latch onto them every few seconds while they are interacting with something. This will slow your progress down, but could be a worthwhile trade-off for preventing chain hunts entirely. We're changing the lament configuration to only pause the timers of the other survivors, but not the carrier. This means if the person holding the box neglects it for too long, a chain hunt will start start for them only. This chain hunt is an addition to the occasional chains that spawn while interacting with something, making it very difficult to ignore. Cool. That sounds about right to me. That's sort of a good quality of life change. I wouldn't even call it a quality of life change, actually. It's just a good buff for the lament configuration, which kind of makes sense. I didn't even really notice that there were chains attacking me. It might be because it's all new and I was just overwhelmed by it, but I didn't really notice it. So that's good. We've got a few more changes to get through, so lightning round. Tweaked gateway placement to be easier on maps with multiple floors. Added a brief immunity period to chains after being unhooked. Added a maximum control time for gateways. Whoa, one of the things I did in my video was camp using it. So that's a good thing. Added a brief cooldown to the solve interaction to prevent spamming. Increased blood points for the Cenobite scoring event across the board. Cool. Those are all good changes. Happy with that. Like I say, there seems to be an understanding that the Cenobite is... I know I'm saying that wrong. People complained about me pronouncing it wrong. I'm sorry. I still haven't seen the movie. I've only seen other DBD YouTubers. I'm calling him the Cenobite. Deal with it. I'm sorry. I think that makes sense. A lot of people were saying he was underwhelming, but I actually kind of really liked the way that he played, and he seemed like a good enough threat. Hopefully these changes will prevent that from stacking even further, so that's good. These are some pretty significant changes to quite a few mechanics, which is good. I'm glad to see that, and I'm glad that they're finally committing to SBMM as well, and finally getting that rolled out full time. I think the new ranks, the new, what do they call it, grade system is going to be good. I think we're going to have to go through a period of getting used to it, but the fact that Iridescent 1 is the highest rank rather than it being like Iridescent 4 or something is a really, really good change, because I want to be Red Rank 1. I want to say I'm Red Rank 1. I don't want to say I'm Iridescent 4. Because, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. It's about the amount of time you've played in a month. But, yeah, that's good. Before we sign off, we want to take a moment to reassure you the team is still actively working on various performance issues affecting some platforms. Each bug needs to be investigated and fixed separately. We're aiming to have fixes for some of the remaining issues over the next few updates. The first of these fixes will appear in the 5.2.0 update, which will address hitches when using Dead Hard. I don't play the game on console, but a lot of you do, and a lot of you have been complaining to me about this, and yeah, I'm sorry. Well, they're finally fixing it. It took a while. Rest assured that we've not forgotten or moved on. Smooth performance is still a priority for us. So that's it. This is probably the least interesting developer update we've had for the last couple of years, at least when I've been paying attention to them. Usually we get some news on some new features and stuff like that. They're kind of just reaffirming here. And just very, very quickly before I end this video, I want to talk about why that is fantastic and why developer updates like this, while, you know, not massively interesting necessarily, are actually a really, really good thing. DBD has had an issue for a long, long time, and I have spoken about it in depth about how they seem to be more interested in adding new content than fixing existing stuff. With the paragraph approach, that being that they're releasing one killer and then during the mid-chapter they'll release an original survivor, it means they can really focus on the mechanics of the game and the bug fixes, and that is essential. My biggest problem with the game over the last 6 months has been desync. When you're getting chased and then suddenly you jerk back into a position, it's been an issue ever since the new animations came on. What was I forgot what the update was. Was it 4.2 or something? But that seems to be fixed, and I'm actually enjoying chases, and I'm rediscovering that actually I'm pretty good at chases. I just wasn't confident in the character's ability to move properly before, and that made me make some really weird decisions. This is a good thing. The fact that they're not going on and on about new updates that we may not see for 6 months, or in some cases ever see, is a really, really positive thing. They're turning their sights a little bit lower and just focusing on the quality of the game. To get SBMM out, to get some changes to the Cenobite and have that be the entirety of the developer update really makes me think they've got their sights set straight, and that is hugely, massively important. And personally, I'm really, really grateful for that. What do you guys think of these changes? What do you guys think of the new SBMM? And what do you think of the Cenobite? There you go. One more time for the Hellraiser fans out there to complain. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe and that. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. And sorry for another low effort video. Hey! Do you want a quick channel update? Let's go. Quick channel update. So, I said before, the reason why I've been uploading less is because I've been focusing on my business. That is completely true. But I have now integrated the YouTube channel with the business, meaning that YouTube work counts as work, meaning that when I'm focusing on the business, I can also be focusing on my YouTube channel. So that's what I'm doing right now. From next week onwards, you're going to see a new myth-busting video every single Monday, a new gameplay video every single Wednesday, and a new analytical video every single Friday. I'm getting my employees to help me work on this, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful, and I really, really hope that we can continue to grow the channel. Thank you. Sorry about the lower effort video, but things are going to be really ramping up from next week onwards. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. I don't know what this is, but yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Only one gen's been done. We can turn this game around and we can win.